Literary Movements and Trends in English Literature, Part 10. Today we'll be talking about Victorian age and Victorian age literary movements that were basically important. So, Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood is one of them. So, it was led by Dante Gabriel Rossetti in mid 19th century. It was the artistic movement, and Dante was a painter and he wanted to take paintings before Raphael. So it included the group of writers, seven painters, writers, and like Dante Gabriel Rossetti, James Collinson, William Holman Hunt, John Everest Milias, William Michael Rossetti, Frederick Stephen, and Thomas Walner. So basically, they broke the norms of Victorian poetry and the themes of medievalism. And Robert Buchanan, he did not like the Raphaelite poetry and introduced and said that this was the fleshly school of poetry. So in response to this, Dante Gabriel wrote Steele Day School of Criticism in response to this. So next comes the aestheticism. It was in late 19th century rebellion against the Victorian life, and basically they preferred for man-made goods rather than the factory goods, and art for art's sake, that was important. And they did not believe that art should contain the didactic purpose, which means that moral purpose. Art does not tend to give any moral purpose. So it was formulated by Immanuel Kant, and important writers were Walter Peter, Oscar Wilde, A.C. Swinburne, Werner Lee, Arthur Simon, Aubrey Beardsley, and John Simmons. These were the important writers of aestheticism. Now coming to fireside poets. So fireside poets is a school of room and the household poets. This was the group of 19th century American poets associated with New England, and these writers were against the Victorian poets, and they were Henry Wordsworth Longfellow, William Cullen Bryant, John Greenleaf Whittier, James Russell Lowell, and Oliver Holman Sr. So these were the important writers of this period. Next comes the Oxford movement of 16th century. So basically this was led by George Henry Newman. He wrote an article in which he wrote that it is the high time to make changes in the Anglican Church. So that's why it became that popular. Next comes realism. So father of realism was Henrik Ibsen. So this followed the romanticism, use of typical authentic settings, relatable plots, daily life, realistic works, so representation of reality and society, like for example Madame Bovary, I could say Flaubert, Charles Dickens, Leo Tolstoy, Mark Twain, and Honorable Sacks. So these were the important writers. Next comes naturalism. So this was influenced by Charles Darwin. So his theory work was survival of their aim was to study temperament and not the characters. So important writers were Stephen Crane, Jack London, Guy de Maupassant, Edith Wharton, Emile Zola, and Theodosia. So these were the important writers, and they were against romanticism and looked the world in a scientific way. So with a journalistic approach, and nature was dominated. Rest we will cover in part 11. Thank you.